Good morning, YouTube. Today I'm going to make a chicken feeder, and I'm going to bring you along so you can see how I do it, and perhaps you can, if you like the idea, you can make one yourself. It's a good way to give the chickens a larger supply of food so you don't have to feed them every day. Just save time, more efficient, and keeps the food clean and contained for them. So what I've got here is the parts we need. I've got a length of PVC pipe here. This is 90mm PVC pipe, and all these fittings correspond to the 90mm pipe. I've got an offcut here as well, which we'll need, and I'll show you in a minute what we'll do with that. So we've got a reducer, 2 caps, a joining sleeve, and a T-piece. Now this is a snap-on T-piece, which just, as the name implies, snaps onto your pipe, which I'll use, but they're quite expensive. They run about $10 a piece. This is just left over from a tank install that I did on a job, so that's why I'm probably going to use this. But if you don't have one of these, you can pick these up. These T-pieces run about $3 a piece, and what you can do is just cut it down there, so you'd have your piece there, and then that'll just get glued on. Cheaper way to do it. You can't use it as just put your pipe in as you normally would, as you'll see as we go along in the project. So yeah, that's a good way to save a bit of money if you want to. These are definitely great and easy though. But like I said, if I didn't have this, I'd just use this. So it's not really important. So what we're doing is, well, how about I just start building it and bring you along. Okay, the first thing you need to do, you need the PVC glue. This joins it all together, seals it, and makes it robust. So with your joiner piece, you're going to coat the inside of it. Now you don't need tons of this stuff, but you don't want to skimp on it either. I mean, it's not too expensive, so just put it on there. Now while you're using this stuff, you do need to work relatively quickly. Alright. And that goes onto the PVC pipe. Next, what you want to do is paint the inside with it, inside the joiner. Needing a new bottle of this soon. It's a bit of a pain when it gets slow. Righto. Now I haven't painted all the way up in this joiner. I've just painted, if you can see, that bit there on the inside. So when we put this in, that's glued, but the part of the joiner above that is not. It will be glued later, but we'll get this piece of pipe cut first. So I've pre-measured it already. From the bottom there to the top here is 90mm. Now this measurement's pretty important. So what I've done is transferred that to here. We've got 90mm here, and the final length will be 120mm on this little bit, on this piece of pipe. You don't want the hole lower than the 90mm or much lower than the 90mm, otherwise the feed will just keep putting out feed. It needs to be closer to, what would you call it, just stop the feed just from falling through. It needs to have the resistance there to stop it when it's done. Okay, so I've just cut this pipe down to 120mm. Excuse my really wonky cut. Normally I do it better than that, but not to worry, it's fine on this project. So this piece here now goes on here. One thing to do actually as well, this is the important bit, this reduces offset to the side, and we want to know where that offset is. So what I'm going to do is put a mark on the joiner on the offset side. When we come to drill our hole in this piece, we want to come in the other side. So mark that now so you know where it is, because once this is on, I've got the end cap on here already so you can't see down it. Once this is on, you won't know which way it goes. So I suppose we'll look to the other side, but it's easy this way. Trust me. So, I was looking on the internet for at feeders, and this is how I got the idea for this off the internet, and they're selling them for about $100 for the feeder and waterer. I thought I can make one super easy for a fraction of that cost, so I bought some nipples off eBay, and let's get this on here. Right. So I bought some nipples off eBay, and they were $13 for 5. We'll use 2 in this project for the waterer, probably including the nipples that we'll use, and what you see here, $10 invested, so much cheaper. The nipples haven't arrived yet, so I'll show you the water tank waterer build when they do arrive. So in the meantime I'll just do the feeder. So what we've got here now, as you can see, is the full length of PVC, sorry. Straighten that up for it to dry. The full length of PVC and the reducer inside of that. From our mark we know that's the offset side of the reducer, so on the other side we need to drill a hole. And that's to allow the chickens to feed from it. Okay, so I've went and drilled the hole. You can see the reducer in there, that comes out about level with the bottom of the hole. To do the hole, you really need a hole saw. I definitely recommend getting one of the hole saws. They come with a range of sizes for different holes, so you can do a lot of stuff with them. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to put on this. Now this just acts like a shroud, basically, for the feeder, and nothing more. You could, if you want, use it as it is, just like that. Chickens stick their head in there, and that's all there is to it. So, the shroud also needs to be glued on. So what I'm going to do is smear some glue here, smear some glue here, a bit more down here. I'm going to snap it on, slide it up, and just position it. That looks nice. Doesn't need to be a huge amount on the shroud, it's not taking any weight or force whatsoever. It's purely there just as a guide for the chickens, help contain food and whatnot. So that's it. Very simple to make, anyone can do it. There really is no special skill involved at all. The piece we have left over, the cap, this doesn't get glued on, it just sits on there like a lid, keep the rain out, pull it off, refill, put it back on. So that's the chicken feeder I wanted to show you. Okay, so here's the chicken feeder installed, just sits in there like that, in the A-frame, drilled a hole through it, pokes through with the shroud there, right, really nicely. Just got a bracket there that supports it to the house. Full of feed. That lasts them for about 5 days to a week. And here are the little chickens, Australorps, about 3 months old now. And they love it. Makes life a lot easier. Don't have to fill the feeder up every day like I was doing before, and just a more efficient way of doing it. I hope you learned how to do it from the video, and maybe think about making one yourself. Okay, thanks for watching.